Kraven the Hunter is finally coming to live action. This of course will be courtesy of Sony making a standalone film. But as it turns out, all the previous rumors were true. Every single iteration of Spider-Man has had Kraven in its script at one point, and especially the last 3 MCU entries. So this info comes at us from The Wrap, who got to talk to various people involved with Spider-Man No Way Home, and they specifically got to talk to the people that worked on the script side of things a little bit more in depth, talking about how far Spider-Man has come in the MCU, of course the character's journey and growth, and the villains that were chosen. They reflected upon not wanting to rehash old villains, and then of course Kraven the Hunter was brought up because Kraven is getting a standalone film, and the fact that there was plenty of rumors that Kraven would be featured in Homecoming, and then featured in Spider-Man Far From Home, and then finally No Way Home. They went on and confirmed that every single draft of MCU Spider-Man, and even some films outside of it, and I'm assuming they're talking about the Amazing Spider-Mans because this was sort of confirmed way back when, has had Kraven at one point or another, but plans always ended up changing because they went in a different direction, whether it was a studio mandate or the story just didn't line up at the time, or they didn't set up Kraven properly. And they said that this is because Kraven is one of those characters that's so cool and has such an interesting dynamic and perspective and what he offers to Spider-Man, that every single time they go to him, they come up with great ideas, but then it ends up falling through because the story just isn't right. Now, of course, this is rather interesting because Kraven could have fit in many places in regards to the MCU, but now that he's getting a standalone film, it makes me question more so how they're going to pull this off than anything else. But again, if they're able to establish a Kraven standalone that can maybe set up a MCU crossover, or a Venom crossover, or a Venomverse crossover, or whatever they're going to do that features Spider-Man, I think that could work. But again, I don't understand why Kraven has always gotten such disrespect, because to me it doesn't make sense. It's literally a character that everybody has wanted. If you guys go back all the way to when they first announced that Spider-Man was joining the MCU, the following interviews with Sony and Kevin Feige, people would constantly ask about Kraven the Hunter, and everybody would say, oh, that's definitely something we want to do. Oh, we're definitely thinking about that. I mean, we're not going to do the same characters you've seen before, but Kraven is on our list. Like, everybody's always excited about him, and nothing happens. Maybe they're finally going to be able to get it right. Maybe just every time they approached a scenario, they couldn't figure it out. Maybe Sony's figured it out with Kraven. I don't know. But it's interesting to see that so many different iterations of Spider-Man have tried, and ultimately they all go, you know what, let's just go to something else. That blows my mind. Kraven is literally so simple, yet has so much depth, that it almost seems like a surefire thing. Which is honestly maybe why Sony's doing it. I can't imagine you screw up Kraven, but this is Sony, so I suppose we'll see.